Good morning, friends. Today I'm going to talk about the unified approach for the better methodology for software development. That the methodology for software development means it consists of three phases. Okay, the methodology, the unified approach is the methodology for software development. It is in the object-oriented analysis and design. I'm going to handle the subject that is object-oriented analysis and design, particularly in the unified approach for a better, that is the methodology for software development. That the unified approach means for the better understanding, we are going to understand about the better understanding of the object-oriented concept and technologies. Okay, before we are going to start, what do you mean by system development? We know about what is a system development. What is a system development? Then what is a object-oriented system development? The third one, what is a software development methodology? What do you mean software development methodology? Then why we go for an object orientation? Why we go for an object orientation? Object orientation. The last one, the unified approach. Okay, that's why our topic, the unified approach, that the methodology for software development. First, what do you mean by system development? Okay, the system development means the activities. What do you mean by activities? The system development activities. That activities that go into producing some information system solution. The activities mean that is the analysis. Second is the design. The third, implementation. The next one is the testing. Okay, these are the activities. Okay, these activities that go into producing some information system solution, that is one product. Okay, the activities that go into producing some information system solution is called as the system development. Then what do you mean by object-oriented system development? Object-oriented system development is a way to develop a software by building the self-contained modules. Okay, the self-contained, what is the purpose of self-contained modules? So that we can easily replace and modify. Okay, suppose we are going to change or modify the particular event, okay, we can easily change the particular part. So that, okay, that is the object-oriented system development is a way to develop a software by building the self-contained modules. That is the object-oriented system development. Now, what do you mean by software development methodology? Okay, the software development methodology is a series of process. Okay, the series of process. What do you mean by series of process? How the work is to be carried out to achieve the original goal based on the requirement. Okay, there is the software development methodology. Then why we go for an object orientation? Okay, why we go for an object orientation? The first one, that is, what is the difference between the traditional approach and the object oriented approach? The first one, higher level of abstraction. Higher level of abstraction. The second one, seamless transition. Seamless transition among the different phases of software development. Different phases of software development. The third one, encouragement of good programming technique. Encouragement of good programming technique. Encouragement of good programming technique. Then the fourth one, promotion of reusability. Promotion of reusability. Okay, why we go for an object orientation? That means what is the difference between the traditional approach and the object oriented approach? The traditional approach, okay, there is the higher level of abstraction. Okay, what do you mean higher level of abstraction? In the traditional approach, it focuses only at the functional level. But the object oriented approach, it focuses on both the data and functional, that is the object level. Okay, what do you mean by object level? The object level means it encapsulate both the data and functions. Okay, it encapsulate the both data and function means, okay, we can analyze the data and design, okay, the implementing the data much easier than the traditional approach. Okay, the higher level of abstraction only focus on the functional level. The object oriented approach focus on both the data and functional level, that is called as the object level. Okay, the object level means the object encapsulate both the data and function. Okay, that's why we go for the object oriented approach. The second one, the seamless transition. the seamless transition among the different phases of software development means, okay, the traditional approach, there are different styles and methodology for each and every step of the process, and also, okay, the moving from one place to another place is very complex in the traditional approach. But in the object oriented approach, we are going to use only the same language for designing, analyzing, implementing the particular phase. The third one, the encouragement of good programming technique. Okay, the encouragement of the good programming technique, that the class concept. Okay, based on the class concept, we can easily replace or modify the particular area. That's why we go for the object-oriented approach. The third one is the promotion of reusability. What do you mean by promotion of reusability? Okay, the object-oriented concept supports the inheritance concept. What do you mean by inheritance? Okay, the inheritance is the what do you mean inheritance? The properties of the base class may be inherited by the properties of the derived class. Okay, we can reuse the code, okay, from the previous class. That's why we go for the object oriented approach. Okay, why we go for an object orientation? The higher level of abstraction, seamless transition. Okay, the seamless transition among the different phases of software development, encouragement of good programming technique. Okay, the traditional approach, okay, the class concept is not included in the traditional approach, but the object oriented approach uses the class concept. The last one is the promotion of reusability. The object oriented approach uses the inheritance concept. What do you mean by inheritance? The properties of the base class may be inherited by the properties of the derived class. The properties of the base class may be inherited by the properties of the derived class. There are different type of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hybrid inheritance, hierarchical inheritance are the different type of inheritance. Then the next one is the unified approach. Okay, the unified approach. What do you mean by unified approach? The unified approach is a methodology for the software development. Okay, there are three phases of software development. The first one is the analysis phase, design phase, and the implementation phase. Analysis phase, design phase, implementation phase. First, we are going to see about the analysis phase. In the analysis phase, first we have to identify an actor. Identify an actor. What do you mean by actor? The actor is the one who is using the system. In case of the new system, okay, what do you mean by actor? Who is going to use the system? Okay, who will be using the system? Who is using the system? Who will be using the system? In case of the new system, it is called as who will be using the system. For example, how to represent as an actor? Okay, this is the way to represent as an actor. Okay, for example, the library management system. Library management system. In the library management system, who are the actors in the library management system? The first one, the library member. Okay, the member is going to use the library management system. Then the circulation clerk. Okay, what is the purpose of the circulation clerk? The circulation clerk is going to check the ID cards. So the circulation clerk is also use the library management system. Okay, the last one, supplier. Why the supplier is called as an actor? The supplier is also going to use the library management system for supplying the books. Okay, these are the actors. In the analysis phase, first we have to identify the actors. What are the actors in the library management system? The first one is the member. The second is the circulation clerk. The third is the supplier. Okay, the supplier is going to supply the books to the library. The next one, develop a simple business process model. Develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram. Using an activity diagram. What do you mean by activity diagram? The activity diagram is the one, what are the activities going on inside the system. Okay, the unified approach is a methodology for a software development. Okay, it consists of three phases. The first one is the analysis phase. The analysis phase, what are the different, first in the analysis phase, first we have to identify an actor. Then what do you mean by actor? The actor is the one who is using the system. In case of the new system, who will be using the system? For example, the library management system. Who are the actors in the library management system? The first one is the library member, the second is the circulation clerk, the third one is the supplier. Okay, the member is going to borrow the books from the library, the member is going to return the books to the library, the member is going to reading newspapers in library, the member is going to doing research in library. The circulation clerk, if the member is going to borrow the books from the library, he uses check library card. That is done by the circulation clerk. The supplier is going to supply the books to the library. So who are the actors in the library management system? Member, circulation clerk, and the supplier. The next one, we are going to develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram. Okay, what do you mean by activity diagram? What are the activities going on inside the system? For example, the library management system. What are the activities going on in the library management system? You have to draw the activity diagram. Okay, what are the activities going on inside the system? The first one start, okay, the condition checking. Okay, if the member is going to return a book means go to the counter and return the book. If it is done, then go to the counter and check out the book. Okay, the next activity, suppose the member is going to borrow the books from the library. Okay, you go to the book section and search the book. Finally, go to the counter and check out the book. Okay, this is the activity diagram. What do you mean by activity diagram? The activity diagram is the one. Okay, what are the activities going on inside the system? That is in the analysis part. First, we have to identify an actor, then develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram. The third one, develop the use cases. What do you mean by use cases? The use cases is the scenario for understanding the system's requirement. Okay, how to represent the use cases? The use cases is represented as an ellipse. Okay, the name of the use case may be inside an ellipse or below the ellipse. For example, borrow books, get an interlibrary loan, return books, reading newspapers. The last one, purchase supplies. Okay, about what do you mean by use case? The use case is the scenario for understanding the system's requirement. For example, borrow books. Or the other definition of the use cases, what are the user doing with the system? What do you mean by actor? Who is using the system? What are the user doing with the system is called as the use cases. Here, what are the different type of communication? There are three type of relationship among the use case diagram. It is called as use case diagram. Okay, what do you mean by use case diagram? okay, the actor communicate with the system's use cases. Okay, what are the three relationships that can be shown in the use case diagram? The first one is the communication. First one is the communication. The second is the user's relationship. The third one is the extends relationship. Okay, what do you mean by user's relationship? Then extends relationship. What do you mean by communication? The actor communicate with the system's use cases. Okay, that the line connected between the actor and the use cases. Okay, that is the first relationship. The second is the user's relationship. Suppose the member is going to borrow books from the library. The borrow books uses check library card. The borrow books uses check library card. That is done by the circulation clerk. The next one, what is the extends relationship? Suppose the particular book is not located in our library, based on get an interlibrary loan use case, we are going to borrow the books from other college library. Okay, that is the extends relationship. Okay, but what do you mean by use cases? Use cases, the scenario for understanding the system's requirement. What do you mean by use case diagram? The communication between the actor and the system's use cases. Okay, that is the use case diagram. What are the three relationships that can be shown in the use case diagram? The first one is the communication relationship, user's relationship, extends relationship. What do you mean by communication? The actor communicate with the system's use cases. What is the user's relationship? Suppose the member is going to borrow books from the library. The borrow books uses check library card. That is done by the circulation clerk. Suppose the member is going to return books from the library, the return books also uses check library card. The return books also uses check library card. Okay, that is done by the circulation clerk. The member is also going to reading the newspapers, in the, sit in a quiet place and read newspapers in the library, and also the supplier is also going to use the library management system for supplying the books to the library. Okay, this is the use case diagram. The next one, develop interaction diagram. In interaction diagram, there are two types of interaction diagram. The first one is the sequence diagram. The second is the collaboration diagram. Sequence. The second is the collaboration. Before we are going to start the interaction diagram, what is the difference between the users and actors? Okay, the user can play more than one role, but the actor can play only one role. For example, what is the difference between the actor and the user? The user can play more than one role. For example, A can play the role of member or employee. B can play the role of employee or volunteer. C can play the role of volunteer or the employee. But the member only borrow the books from the library. The employee supply the books to the library. Okay, the volunteer only check the ID cards. Okay, this is the difference between the actor and the use cases. Okay, the next one, develop the interaction diagram. What do you mean? There are two types of interaction diagram. The first one is sequence diagram and the second one is the collaboration diagram. Okay, what do you mean by sequence diagram? Okay, the sequence diagram is the one, okay, what are the activities? Okay, what are the activities? The sequence of activities. The sequence diagram is a sequence of activities that an object goes through during its life. Okay, for example, sequence of activities that an object go through during its life. The caller, exchange, receiver, talk. Okay, these are the object. How the boxes represent an object. The dotted line represents object existence. Object existence. Object existence. The first activity, the caller to exchange. There is the off hook mode. The phone is in off hook mode. Then dial tone received. Dial tone. Then dial number. The next one, the exchange to receiver is in off hook mode or dial tone received. Dial tone received. Then the next off hook, finally on hook. What do you mean by sequence diagram? Okay, the sequence diagram is a sequence of activities that an object goes through during its life. Okay, the collaboration diagram, what are the activities going on between two objects? Caller, exchange, receiver, talk. Caller, exchange, receiver, talk. What are the activities going on from caller to exchange? The off hook. The first one is the off hook. The next, what is the activities going on from caller to exchange or exchange to caller? Okay, that is the dial tone. The second is the dial tone. What is the third one? Dial number. Okay, dial number from caller to exchange. The next one, exchange to receiver. That is the dial tone. The fourth one is the dial tone. The last one, fifth one, half hook, from receiver to talk. Then the talk to receiver, the talk to exchange. That is the fifth one. Okay, what is the difference between the sequence and collaboration diagram? The sequence diagram, okay, the sequences are indicated by arrows, but in the collaboration diagram, the sequences are indicated by numbering the messages. What do you mean by sequence diagram? The sequence of activities that an object go through during its life, but in the collaboration diagram, what are the activities going on from the particular objects? For example, caller to exchange. What are the activities going on from caller to exchange and exchange to caller? What are the activities going on from exchange to receiver and receiver to exchange, and what are the activities going on from the particular object, okay, the particular two objects, okay, that is called as the collaboration diagram. What is the difference between the sequence and collaboration diagram? The sequence diagram, the sequences are indicated by arrows. Here the sequence diagram, the collaboration diagram, the sequences are indicated by numbering the messages. Okay, that is the fourth one. First you have to identify an actor, then develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram, then develop the use cases, then develop an interaction diagram. The last one, classification. Classification. Here the classification, we are going to identify the classes, identify an attributes, identify the methods. Okay, these are then define the relationship. Okay, these are the approaches for the classification. This is in the analysis phase. This part, the next step of analysis part is classification. What do you mean by classification? The classification is the process of checking to see if an object belongs to a category or not. Before we are going to start for start for classification, then how we are going to develop after completing the interaction diagram, how we are going to developing the effective documentation. Okay, the first one is the common cover, the second is the 80-20 rule, the next one is the familiar vocabulary, the third one, make the document as short as possible, finally organize the document. What do you mean by common cover? Each and every document should share a common cover, that is the document name for the particular product. Then what is the version number? What is the version number for the particular product? Who is the responsible individual? What is the name of the responsible individual? What is the title of the responsible individual? We have to include it in the common cover. The next one is the 80-20 rule. What do you mean by 80-20 rule? 80% of work can be done by the 20% of the documentation. That is called as the 80-20 rule. The familiar vocabulary. Okay, what do you mean by familiar vocabulary? Okay, it is easy to communicate with the readers. The documentation is very easy to communicate with the readers, not make them with a buzzword, that is the hardware. That is the familiar vocabulary. The second one, the fourth one is to make the document as short as possible. Okay, well, make the document as short as possible means the abstract, the summary are only within 3 pages. That is called as the make the document as short as possible. Finally, we are going to organize the document. Okay, the analysis part. What is the first step of the analysis part? Analysis part. First, we have to identify an actor, then develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram. The third one is to develop the use cases. That is the fourth one is to develop the sequence diagram. They develop the interaction diagram. That is the sequence and collaboration diagram. After completing these, we go for the develop the effective documentation. That is the common cover, 80-20 rule, familiar vocabulary, make the document as short as possible. Finally, we are going to organize the document. The next one, we go for identifying the classes. That is the classification. Okay, what do you mean by classification? The process of checking to see if an object belongs to a category or not. That is the classification. First, we are going to identify the classes. What are the different technology for identifying the classes, or what are the different approaches for identifying the classes? The first one is the noun phrase approach. The second one is the common class pattern approach. What do you mean by noun phrase approach? The noun phrase approach, the nouns in the textual description are considered to be classes and verb to be the method of the classes. First, we are going to identify the tentative classes. How to identify the tentative classes or the candidate classes? We are going to look for the nouns and noun phrases in the documentation. Then, okay, we go for identifying the relationship. Okay, what are the different type of relationship? The first one is the association. Okay, the association relationship, super subclass structure. The next one is the aggregation. The next one, we are going to identify the attribute and identifying the method. Okay, what do you mean by classification? The classification is the process of checking to see if an object belongs to a category or not. There are 2 approaches for identifying the classes. The first one is the noun phrase approach. The second one is the common class pattern approach. The noun phrase approach, the nouns in the textual description. Okay, the nouns in the textual description are considered to be classes, verb to be the method of the classes. Here, we are going to identify the candidate classes. Then, the first one, what are the initial list of phrases? That is the candidate classes. We are going to find based on the documentation. What are the initial list of phrases? That is the account balance. These are the initial list of noun phrases. Okay, we are going to look for nouns and noun phrases in the documentation. These are the initial list of noun phrases, that is called as the candidate classes. That is the account balance, amount, approval process, ATM card, ATM machine, bank, backlight, envelope, 4-digit. Next, we are going to eliminate the irrelevant classes. What do you mean by irrelevant classes? That is not related to the particular concept. For example, okay, here the envelope. Okay, the envelope is not related to the classes. The 4-digit is not related to the classes. So, we are going to eliminate the envelope and 4-digit. So, what are the final list of classes? Account, client's account balance, amount, approval process, ATM card, ATM machine, bank, client. Then we are going to reviewing the redundant classes. Okay, that's why how we are going to review the redundant classes? That's we are going to build a common vocabulary. For example, the saving. Okay, the saving and savings account both are same meaning. Okay, it is combinedly known as the saving account. The account, client's account both are same meaning. It combines as the account. That's why that is a reviewing the redundant classes, and also we are going to build a common vocabulary. Then, okay, the reviewing the classes that containing adjective. Okay, the adjective, what do you mean by adjective? The adjective is the different use of the same object. So, we are going to eliminate one of the object. Then, the next one is reviewing the possible attribute. For example, the amount. Okay, here the amount is one of the classes. It is a value, not a class. So, we are going to eliminate the amount class. Okay, then finally, these are the final classes of, okay, the noun phrase approach. That the ATM machine, ATM card, bank client, bank. These are the final list of classes of, okay, the noun phrase approach. What is the classification? The classification is the process of checking to see if an object belongs to a category or not. Okay, there are 2 approaches: noun phrase approach, common class pattern approach. The common class pattern approach, we are going to find the common classes that is defined by some reviewers. For example, the event class, the people class, concept class, tangible things class. These are the example for the common class pattern approach. Based on the common class pattern approach, we are going to identify the classes. Okay, these are the 2 approaches for identifying the classes. That is the noun phrase approach, common class pattern approach. Then the next one, relationship. Here, before we are going to start the relationship, how to represent a class. Okay, the class is represented as a rectangle with the 3 compartments. What is the 3 compartment? The first compartment represents the class name, the second compartment represents the attribute, the third compartment represents the methods. Okay, before we are going to start how to represent a class, the class is represented as a rectangle with the 3 compartments. The first compartment represents the class name. Okay, what are the final list of classes? At the bank, what are the final list of classes? ATM machine, ATM card, bank client, bank, transaction, account, checking account and the saving account. These are the final list of classes of the library, the ATM management system. What are the different classes? Bank. How to represent a class? A class is represented as a rectangle with the 3 compartments. The first compartment represents the class name, the second is the attribute, the third one is the methods. Then what are the different type of relationship among the classes? There are 3 type of relationship among the classes. Okay, the aggregation relationship, association, the next one is the super subclass structure. What do you mean by association? For example, a solid path connected between the 2 classes. For example, account transaction. What is the relationship between the account and transaction? That is the association. Account transaction relationship or the account transaction association. Okay, what is the relationship between the checking account? The account can be divided, that is the super subclass structure. The account can be divided into checking account and the saving account. Okay, that is the super subclass structure. These are the different type of relationship. Then aggregation, for example, each and every bank consists of an account. Okay, each and every bank consists of an ATM machine. Okay, these are the different type of relationship. What are the different type of relationship? Association, aggregation, the super subclass structure. Association means, okay, the solid path connected between 2 classes, that is the account to transaction. Account transaction association. Okay, the association between the checking account and the saving account. Okay, the account can be divided into 2 accounts. The first one is the checking account, saving account. That is the checking saving association. Okay, this is the aggregation. A bank, a hollow diamond connected to the end of the class. That is the aggregation. A bank consists of an account, a bank consists of ATM machine. Okay, it is called as the class interface notation. That the dotted line, it is a dotted line. What do you mean by class interface notation? A class that requires the operation that is connected to the circle by the dashed arrow. That is the class interface notation. Okay, these are the different type of relationship for identifying we are going to identify the relationship. What are the different type of relationship? Association, aggregation, super subclass structure. Okay, what is this? This is the class interface notation. Okay, these are the different type of relationship among the classes. What do you mean by class interface notation? Okay, the class requires the operation. The bank line requires the operation, that is the ATM machine. A class that requires the operation that is connected to the circle by the dashed arrow. Okay, these are the different type of relationship in ATM system. The next one, we are going to identify the attributes and methods. Okay, how to identify the attribute and methods? For example, the bank line. What are the attributes of the bank line? First name, last name, card number and the PIN number. Okay, then we are going to identify the methods. Okay, what are the methods for the bank line? That is the verify password. For example, the account. What are the attribute of the account? That is the account number and balance. Okay, that is what are the methods of the account? We are going to deposit an account, we are going to withdraw the account. Then the ATM machine, the address of the ATM machine, then state of the ATM machine. Okay, then what are the attribute of the transaction class? That the transaction ID, the transaction date, transaction time, transaction type, transaction amount. What is the post balance of the particular transaction? Okay, these are what are the attribute of each and every class. Okay, how to represent a class? A class is represented as a rectangle with the 3 compartments. The first compartment represents the class name. These are the attribute, then method. Then what is the syntax for the UML attribute presentation and the UML operation presentation? What is a UML? Okay, the UML is the set of conventions. Okay, the UML is the unified modeling language. What do you mean unified modeling language? Okay, it is a language for specifying, constructing and documenting the software system. Okay, that is the UML, that the unified modeling language. Okay, this is the syntax for the UML attribute presentation and the UML operation presentation. The visibility name. The visibility name means either it can be the private visibility or the public visibility or the protected visibility. What do you mean by private? The private members can be used only within the class. Okay, the public members can be used anywhere in the class. The protected members can be used only within the class and immediate subclass. Okay, that the visibility name, the type expression is equal to initial value. Then the operation, what is the syntax for the UML operation presentation? The visibility name, parameter list. Okay, these are the list of parameters. What do you mean parameter list? The list of parameters separated by commas, that is the return type expression, colon return type expression. Okay, this is the syntax for the UML attribute and UML method presentation. Okay, this is the UML attribute presentation. That is the protected. Has is a protected. The first name is the attribute. Okay, the attribute. What the type value? The type value is a string. The next one is the attribute. What the visibility mode? The protected, last name, colon, string. Okay, then the card number. Okay, then the account. What are the attribute of the class account? That is the protected number. Number is the attribute, colon, return type, that is the string. Okay, then protected balance. What is the, okay, the balance is the type, the type is the float. Then protected bank line, what is the type is bank line. Okay, these are the attribute of the account, these are the methods of the account. Then okay, here what are the attribute of the bank line? First name, last name, card number, PIN number and the account. Okay, then these are the attribute of ATM machine, these are the attribute of the class transaction. Okay, but first we have to identify the attribute. Okay, then identify the methods. Okay, in what are the classification? What are the different type of classification? Sorry, the classification, first we are going to identify the classes, then define the relationship, identify the attributes and identify the methods. Okay, the next one, object oriented design process. Okay, here the object oriented design process, we are going to apply the design axiom for identified during the analysis phase. Okay, after applying the design axiom, what do you mean by axiom? Axiom is a fundamental truth. There are two type of axiom, that is the independent axiom and the information axiom. After applying the axiom, we are going to design the classes. Okay, design the classes, methods and attribute. The next one, we are going to design the access layer classes. Then finally, user satisfaction and the usability test. Okay, this is the first one. We already completed the analysis phase. Okay, what are the steps of analysis phase? First we have to identify the actor, then develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram, then develop the use cases, develop the interaction diagram, that is the sequence and collaboration diagram. The last one, classification. In the classification, we are going to identify the classes, identify the attributes, identify the methods, finally define the relationship. The next one, the object oriented design process. The object oriented design process, okay, we are going to apply the design axiom, that is the independent axiom, information axiom. What do you mean independent axiom means? We are going to maintain the independent of the component. Information axiom, we are going to minimize the information content of the design. After applying the design axiom, we are going to design the classes, methods, attributes, identify during the analysis phase. Okay, the next one, we are going to design the view layer or the access layer classes, then usability and user satisfaction test. Okay, these are the steps for designing the access layer classes. Okay, how we are going to design the access layer classes? For every business class identified, okay, we are going to mirror the business classes, or we are going to mirror the access classes. Okay, what is the purpose of access classes? For eliminating the redundant class and method class. Okay, that's why we are going to create the access layer classes. Okay, how to create the access layer classes? For every business class identified. What are the business classes? Okay, these are the business classes. These are the business classes. For every business class identified, we are going to mirror the access layer classes for the purpose of eliminating the redundant class and the method class. Okay, what do you mean redundant class? Okay, two classes that perform the same translate request and okay, the translate results. Okay, we are going to simply select one and eliminate the other. That is the redundant class. Okay, the method class. Suppose we are going to revisit the classes that consist of so some classes having one or two methods. Okay, that classes can be eliminated or combining with the existing classes. Okay, that is the method classes. Finally, iterate and redefine the whole design. Okay, the object oriented design in the object oriented design process, we are going to apply the design axiom and corollaries. Okay, for designing the classes, methods, attributes. Okay, already defined during the analysis phase or already defined during the analysis phase. Okay, after applying the design axiom, we are going to design the classes, methods, attributes, and okay, we are going to design the classes, methods, and attributes. Okay, then we are going to design the access layer classes. Okay, what do you mean by access layer classes? For every business class identified, we are going to mirror the business classes. Okay, sorry, we are going to mirror the access classes for the purpose of eliminating the redundant class and the method class. Okay, these are the business classes. Okay, these are the access classes. Okay, for every business class identified, we are going to mirror the access classes. Okay, for the purpose of eliminating the redundant class and the method class. Okay, the next one, we are going to design the view layer classes. It is also in the design part. Okay, here the view layer, in the view layer classes, we are going to identify the user interfaces. Okay, we are going to identify the user interfaces, and also we are going to design the user interfaces in the view layer classes. Okay, design the macro level user interface, that is the identifying the user interfaces. Then we are going to design the user interfaces in the view layer classes. The next one, what are the different guidelines for designing the user interfaces? Okay, we are going to make the user interface simple. Okay, we are going to make the interface transparent. Then, okay, we are going to allow the user to be in control of the software, that is make the interface, that is these are the guidelines for designing the user interfaces. Okay, what is the purpose of the view layer classes? The purpose of the view layer classes is we are going to design the view layer or the macro level user interface. That is we are going to identify what are the user interface we are going to identify. Then we are going to design the user interfaces. Okay, this is the guideline for designing the user interfaces. Okay, the next one, what is the purpose of the view layer interface? Okay, the purpose is for designing the forms and data entry windows, dialog boxes, command buttons, designing application windows. Okay, we are going to design the colors and fonts. Okay, the next one, this is the final list of classes. Okay, this is the final list of classes after applying the access layer classes and the design layer classes. Okay, if we are going to apply the class diagram in case tools, that is what do you mean case tools? That is the rational suite, the computer aided software engineering tools, automatically the code will be generated. Okay, it is called as the reverse engineering. Okay, the object oriented analysis and design, or the unified approach for the better understanding of object oriented concept. Okay, this is the final list of classes, that is the access classes, the business classes, access classes, view classes. Okay, if we are going to embed in the case tools, that the computer aided software engineering codes, automatically the code will be generated. Okay, it is called as the reverse engineering. Okay, then the object oriented languages are like the C++ and Visual Basic are the forward engineering. Okay, we are going to apply the code. Okay, after applying the code, okay, after designing, okay, after the designing part is completed, suppose we are going to execute the particular code, okay, the output will be generated. That is called as the forward engineering. But the unified approach for a better understanding of object oriented system and development, or okay, the methodologies, the unified approach for the methodology of software development, okay, it is called as the reverse engineering. Okay, this is the conclusion of unified approach roadmap. First we have to identify an actor, okay, who is using the system. Okay, then we are going to develop a simple business process model using an activity diagram. Okay, what do you mean by activity diagram? Okay, what are the activities going on inside the system? Then develop the use case. What do you mean by use case? The use case is a scenario for understanding the system's requirement. That is the use case. What is the use case diagram? It's the communication between the actors and the use cases. Okay, what are the different type of relationship among the use case diagram? The first one is the communication, users relationship, extends relationship. Then develop the interaction diagram. What do you mean by interaction diagram? Here the interaction diagram, there are two type of interaction diagram. There is the sequence diagram and a collaboration diagram. The last one is the classification. Okay, the analysis part, the last part of the analysis part, that is the classification. Here the classification, we are going to identify the classes, then identify the attributes, identify the method, then define the relationship. But how to identify the classes? What are the different approaches for identifying the classes? The first one is the noun phrase approach. The second one is the common class pattern approach. The second one, identify the relationship. What are the different type of relationship? Association, aggregation, super subclass structure. The last one, okay, then how to, there are different method for the UML attribute presentation and UML method presentation. The next one, the design part. Okay, the design part, okay, after we are going to apply the design axiom. What are the different type of axiom? Independent axiom, information axiom. Okay, we are going to apply the design axiom for designing the classes, attribute, methods, okay, then the association, identify during the analysis phase. Okay, how to identify the classes? That there are different approaches for identifying the classes. That is the noun phrase approach, common class pattern approach. Okay, after applying the design axiom to the classes for designing the classes. Okay, that is the, okay, we are going to refine the attributes, then design methods. For the next one, the design the access layer classes. Okay, for every business class identified, we are going to mirror the access classes. Okay, for the purpose of eliminating the redundant class and the method class. Then the next one, designing the view layer object. What is the purpose of designing the view layer object? For the purpose of defining the view layer object, for identifying the user interfaces and designing the user interfaces. Okay, this is the unified approach, the roadmap of the unified approach, or the unified approach, that is the methodology for software development. Okay, the next one, the prototyping and testing. Okay, we are going to we are going to done the user satisfaction testing, the prototyping and testing. Okay, if you are going after completing the view layer classes, okay, the class diagram is embedded into the case tools, that is the computer aided software engineering tools. Okay, automatically the code will be generated. Suppose we are going to execute the particular code, okay, we got a output. Okay, that is the designing the view layer classes.